the adjusters today that are working for insurance companies, assessing damage, whether it be by looking at photos or actually going out to look at the car, which is rare these days, they're getting dumber.
Say that again?
They're not getting smarter, they're getting dumber.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another airing of Grievances. I'm Eric Reamer, this is Robert Grieve, and we are especially happy to see you here today. If you're watching this for the very first time, welcome to the family. We're grateful that you are here. We air every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Mountain Standard Time, and the first viewing is called a premiere, and Rob and I are actually watching that viewing with you, and you can join us live and chat with us in the YouTube chat feature, so we encourage you to do that. Now, if you're an old timer, hey, thanks again. We appreciate you for being here. If you haven't yet done it, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That lets people know that, when we air a new video, it notifies you that we're here and we're doing something cool. And secondarily, if you haven't yet, please give us the thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm figure out that this is important information for more people, and they will share it with more people. It's a simple thing, it's free, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
And with the premiere, it's usually the first time I get to see it too, just so you know. I don't get to see it ahead of time either.
That's true. Whatever you see here happens here first, comes through here, and
comes out over there.
Comes out over here. That's exactly right. All right, Rob, happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday to you, our dear friends. Thank you so much for the love last week. We got like 160 views or something on that, which is...
I'm pretty sure it was the title that said Honda is suing these guys, and there was a picture of you and me.
Yeah. And we're not Honda, by the way.
We are not Honda, and they're not suing us.
Today.
Today. All right, Rob. Today in the news, and like literally today as we are filming.
Yeah, today came out today.
There is an article, and first of all, shout out to Dave LaChance and Repair Driven News.
Such a great place to get industry information.
Yeah.
Whether you're a consumer or in the business, if you're interested in what's going on in the automotive business, they have the most killer.
Absolutely.
Articles. Easy to read, easy to understand. It's not written in, some foreign language.
And you don't have to be in the industry to appreciate it. And in this particular case, this is information that is relevant to you because this article that came out this morning is about insurers and their consumers' dissatisfaction with the process that insurers have instituted. We've talked about this process.
It's hard to believe. I was shocked when I read it.
Your sense of sarcasm was on point today, and I appreciate that. Take a look at the headline here, Rob.
All right, J.D. Powers. Now, we always go to J.D. Powers if we want the truth on something and who's getting the awards and who isn't.
Right.
So J.D. Powers Studies finds consumer dissatisfaction, disengagement with digital claims processes.
Yeah, and so we've talked about this issue before. Where the digital claims process is 3 years ago, the insurance, all of the insurers kind of put out this artificial intelligence, take photos, send it in, that's going to be your estimation. And it kind of really ramped up with COVID, right?
Oh, yeah. They took that opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah, we've had a little bit and maybe a lot to say about that process. And even in this article, it acknowledges that other body shops have also taken issue with the whole process.
Yeah, it's not consumer friendly.
Right.
And again, these videos are designed for the consumers.
Right.
To educate you a little bit, show you what's going on behind the scenes, to get a views from Oz's point of view.
From Oz's point of view. Whatever you do, don't look behind the curtain.
Yeah. And if you hear some noise in the shop today, I had a very, very busy week, and I'm making Eric stay late to, to do a show, and we're live in the shop. So
it's another day at the office,
Yeah.
and we're grateful that again you're tuning in, and that we have the opportunity to communicate to you in this way. All right. Apparently, there's some difficulties, challenges in the transition to artificial intelligence when it comes to insurance and their consumers.
The insurers are the ones that are using it.
Yeah.
The people that are pushing it are techie people that sell it to them, saying everybody's going to love this.
Right.
It's so simple, and it's easy for you, the insurer, and claims are just going to fly through the system and be over with. And
not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
No, actually, they're finding exactly the opposite. Yet they're spending millions and millions on this platform,
trying to sweep things under the carpet and hopefully getting you to believe that this is a better thing for you and for the process.
And they're good at getting you to believe things.
Well, it's because they've got geckos and
furry things and whatever else,
Yeah.
cuddly stuff, and maybe some mayhem. And let me tell you what,
that
mayhem is true. That mayhem, if you're dealing with that company, that is true.
We laugh at mayhem all the time because it's so accurate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, talk to me.
So, J.D. Power's 2022 U.S. Property Claim Satisfaction Study, released February 28th, found that slower cycle times and growing pains associated with transitioning to digital servicing channels caused overall satisfaction scores to decline to a 5-year low.
All right, let's do some
People are not liking what the insurance company is putting them through with this process, and you shouldn't.
100%. Let's define a couple of terms, at least this cycle time thing. What does that mean? That's an industry term.
Yeah, so there's lots of fancy industry terms that really don't mean that much to me. Cycle time to me is riding a bicycle or a motorcycle up in the mountain.
That is not what it's
to the
talking
insurers,
about here.
It's a different thing. It's how long does it take to get from here to here, and they want a short cycle time so that they can cut their rental expenses and so on and so forth. The shorter the cycle time, the faster they can get a shop to run a car through, the happier they are, the less money they spend.
Right.
And
it's
bad for you.
Yeah, it doesn't translate to anything good for you.
Nope, not any part of it.
One of our...
Other, you'll get your car back faster, but you'll probably have to bring it back 5 times for stuff that's not right.
Not here.
Not here.
One of our...
Because we don't care. Cycle time is riding bicycles in the mountains.
One of our most popular articles, and we've actually written it twice, 2 different angles on the same article, is how long will it take to repair my vehicle?
Yeah.
That's what it's asking. That's the question. It's talking about cycle time, from the point where you bring the car in for the original estimate to the point where the car is delivered to you fully repaired.
Yeah.
And so we talk in these terms, and it's kind of an interesting thing.
It's insurance speak.
It is insurance speak. And again, it's all about saving the insurance money, which doesn't translate to the best repair.
Yeah, so they're talking about slower cycle times and growing pains.
Yeah.
Growing pains associated with transitioning to this digital. Here, you had an accident, so sorry to hear that. Load this app on your phone. Who wants to do that?
Nobody.
And then take that out, fill out all the information, because we don't want to have you on the phone and take that information from you.
And by the way, fill it out on your phone.
Yeah, on your phone.
Typing with your
phone
thumbs.
out. And
I mean, we're older, so we don't type so well.
And then take some pictures and send it off to me. We'll get a check right out to you. It seems nice and simple.
Yeah.
But that was as simple as what it was. That's it. It gets so much harder from there. I have a little case study I'm going to show you here in just a minute. So stay tuned for that, because it shows why this is failing.
Right.
And quite frankly, the adjusters today that are working for insurance companies.
Yeah.
Assessing damage, whether it be by looking at photos or actually going out to look at the car, which is rare these days, they're getting dumber.
Say that again?
They're not getting smarter, they're getting dumber. As the cars get more complex, and there's certain things that we know need to be done from the repair side of thing, the people writing these estimates have no idea anymore and are willing to argue. And we're going to show you in this little case study why that is the case, and you need to be very, very careful and cautious.
What else do we need to know about this article?
Oh, let's see. By the way, they talk about this digital servicing channels. It's fancy for an app, okay?
Right.
And they want the app to do everything it can do without having somebody involved. and they actually call it something else, like straight through something or other. I don't know.
All right.
But many insurance companies and the ones you see on TV cut a lot of their staff.
Right.
Because the code writers and the geeky people over here that said these apps and
this will replace them
and are going to replace people, you don't need them. All the people have to do is do this, which the people don't want to do that, and the claim is just going to go right through the system. You don't even have to have anybody involved in it from a person, standpoint. It'll even send the check out.
Turns out the reason the cycle times are so slow is because the app doesn't fulfill all those dream ideas, and they need to call more people in, that they cut. Yeah. And so it takes time, it takes money.
And different generations are, accepting this digital transition in different ways.
Absolutely.
And more, depending on what generation you're from. Obviously I'm a boomer and we're not so much interested in all that stuff. I want to get somebody on the phone, let's get my car fixed.
You're
let's
a boomer?
move on. I think so.
Right.
Very tail end. Very tail end.
I'm in the generation right after you, and I think there's only 3 or 4 years between us. But yeah, it really is one of those things. If you learn to type with your thumbs as a child, you'll embrace this a little more. However, it's not even being embraced at 50%.
No,
it's not.
No, and people are finding, and J.D. Powers is reporting just what they're finding. People do not like this process. It does not work. It doesn't mean it's not going to work in the future.
Sure.
And it also doesn't mean you're not going to have a choice.
No,
because they're going to push this.
Yeah, you're not going to.
They got a lot of money involved in it. But right now, it's about as painful as it can get to get a car fixed for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So, this particular study is focused more on homeowners insurance, but there's bleed over into the homeowners is property and casualty the same way auto is.
Right.
So there's bleed.
The same issues are affecting all of the
and they talk about some of the causes of dissatisfaction, and those include perceived inadequacies of photo estimating tools.
We've been talking about perceived inadequacies. No, we've been talking about the very real inadequacies of photo estimating tools for a long time.
I don't want us to, be like you heard it here first many episodes ago.
But you did.
And so insurers really struggled last year, partly due to circumstances beyond their control. Okay.
Says the director of insurance intelligence at J.D. Power.
Right. Longer cycle times. We're not talking about bicycling in the mountains here.
Not today.
Material shortages and personnel availability put added pressure on the insurers to keep customers informed and expectations managed.
Interesting.
They're failing at that.
You have to try to manage those expectations, because when is my car going to be done?
Right.
And when are you going to pay for it?
Here's where I'm going to give you a really important piece of advice, so please listen up. Get the most robust rental policy you can on your insurance policy. It is an endorsement. You pay extra for it, and it's cheap as could be. Get the most robust rental policy you can. It is taking way past 30 days to get some claims even through the system enough to start repairing them or ordering parts. And so many parts are on back order. And, if the claims process went faster over here, we might have been able to get the parts ordered sooner and they wouldn't be back ordered. Or we'd be higher on the list to get the parts.
Yeah.
But get the biggest, most robust rental policy you can. It'll be money well spent.
This is valuable information, and ultimately, here's the truth: 30 days is, we've been trained, we've been programmed to pay the very least, right? Save 15% in 15 minutes or less. And the fact of the matter is, when you get down to the bottom line, adding a couple extra dollars to your monthly premium is nothing
Compared to what you're going to spend.
You're going to end up spending a ton if you end up exceeding that rental car, because they'll shut it off. The insurer will shut it off the payment for that, and you're stuck footing the bill for the difference. And that's where cycle time comes up and bites you in the rear end. And
so it goes on to say, it's no secret the industry has been investing heavily in back-end technology such as straight-through claims processing. That's what we were talking about before.
Right.
It's nobody's involved. Take the pictures, give them the information.
Zippity-doo-dah.
Check's on the way.
Yeah.
And it's a bot telling you a check's on the way. I believe. I don't know that to be a fact. So anyway, it's no secret the industry has been investing heavily in back-end technology such as straight-through processing, which should help set the stage for faster, more personalized digital claims management tools. But right now, there's still a great deal of room for improvement in these functions. Like I said, it's not going to go away. The best we can do is try to make it better.
Right.
But right now, it's failing miserably. And they're feeling the pressure with your scores. Although I don't remember ever getting asked to fill out a JD Power survey for anything.
I'll get right on that.
Okay. And they talk about some of the key satisfaction metrics being missed. Digital claims management tools are hitting their key performance indicators for the estimation process just 35% of the time.
I don't know about you, but when I grew up, 35% was definitely failing.
Yeah. Generational disparities magnified. Members of the boomer generation are using insurance digital claims tools less and experiencing lower levels of overall satisfaction than members of generations Y and Z.
All right.
So there is that part of it. And here it talks about collision repairers. So I don't know what collision repairers. Maybe they've been watching our show. I don't know.
If you are, give us a shout out. Yeah. Comments below.
It talks about collision repairers have criticized the insurance industry's switch to photo-based estimating and photo estimating artificial intelligence. I'm going to talk about that here in a second with my my little case study.
We'll discover that it really is artificial.
And this was brought up in April of 2021 in Wired magazine. So this is not just the collision industry, or this is everybody's looking at this stuff.
Everybody's talking about it.
So let's talk about this car, for instance.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how things can be so simple and yet they're not that simple.
All right.
And so we're going to bring up this picture of a scratched bumper.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good scratch.
And so person comes in. This person actually was picking up somebody at the shop.
Okay.
They weren't coming in for an estimate or anything like that, but they happen to be friends of the family, and we went out, and she said, "Hey, look at the scratch on my thing." And I'm like, She goes, "Don't worry about it. I'm going to just leave it there, and it's just a scratch."
Oh,
like, okay,
cool. You did not just say that to Rob Grieve of Nylund's Collision Center.
Yeah. I said, it could be something maybe a little bit more than that, and let's take another look. And if you go and take a look at this picture, well, now things look a little different. But we're going to go back to this picture for a quick second.
Okay.
You take that picture, put it into the app, you send it to the insurance company. They're going to put it through, they're probably going to put it through an artificial intelligence that is going to read the VIN and look at the picture and say, okay, that bumper is repairable, it's just got a scratch on it. We'll give you a couple hours to repair the scratch or take the bumper off and paint it and put it back on, and your estimate is maybe 5-6 lines.
And we're talking about the bumper cover.
Yeah, the bumper cover.
Plastic bumper cover there. Okay.
That's what you're going to get back. And you're going to say, oh, that's all it is?
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, you know? Now we go back to this picture. If you look at it, and this is what I was showing them, you'll see that the quarter panel is actually rolled in.
Now that's the piece above the bumper.
Correct. That the bumper is attaching to.
Underneath or next to that gas cap or gas.
Exactly. And so let's just go to this picture, and I put a little mark there so it's a little more prevalent.
Yeah.
It's more than just a scratch on the bumper. But the AI is more than likely not going to pick up. If you sent this picture in, it's still going to see the scratch on the bumper.
Yeah.
And you're going to repair the bumper, take the bumper off, fix the bumper, paint the bumper, put the bumper back on.
Right.
That's your estimate, and maybe 5 or 6 lines. But you can clearly see here that quarter panel is also bent.
Yeah.
And so we're going to take it one step further. I want to say one more thing about this bumper. Actually, we're going to just go to this other picture. Now the bumper is off.
Yeah, sure.
And behind the bumper is, I have circled, a blind spot monitor.
There it is.
That blind spot monitor doesn't look like it's damaged, but it's actually pushed in. And so the angle that it should be reading, it is not.
Oh.
Now that's not going to turn a light on the dashboard because it's communicating, and the light on the dashboard is really just pinging all the different things. Are we communicating? Are we communicating? Yes, we're communicating. Good. It's not seeing that it's not aligned the way that it's supposed to be aligned. It doesn't know that. So we go back and we look at the bumper cover picture, and it's just fix a bumper cover.
Right.
And that's all the insurance company puts in their thing. But now we know we need to fix the quarter panel.
Right.
And at the very minimum, recalibrate this blind spot monitor. Because while you were driving around with just a scratch on it, and I'm going to leave it there.
Yep. It's sending bad
information. The blind
information.
spot monitor is not operating as designed.
Right.
So, and the blind spot monitor can do a couple things depending on what packages you have. It looks at what's on the side of you in your blind spot.
Right.
All right. It may or may not be seeing it with the angle that it is sitting at right now.
Yeah.
But it also, some of them put cross-track into that, which means if you're in the King Soopers parking lot,
right,
and you're backing out,
right,
and there's a car coming down the alleyway, the blind spot monitor sees the movement and alerts you to stop, that there's somebody coming.
Yeah, a car or a person
that may not see
right
that other vehicle coming until it's too close, or it's not operating as designed.
Yeah.
So now this estimate to repair a bumper, which they'd probably be $600, this thing is now probably turning into $4 or $5 grand.
Really?
Between fixing and painting the quarter panel and calibrating the blind spot monitor,
sure,
all the paint work, all the rest of that stuff, and it's a huge disconnect.
Right.
Now, you get the estimate. It's $400 or $500 to fix my bumper.
Right. And the check's on the way.
Check's on the way. You bring it to us or any other shop, that's going to do the right job for you.
Yep.
And not follow just what the insurance company is seeing,
big
but know what needs to be done.
Big problem there.
You're going to be shocked. And some people are more shocked than others to the actual expense of what it's going to take to fix something. And it could almost look like the shop is trying to rip somebody off.
Right.
And the insurer will tell you, if they don't want to pay that bill, that the shop is trying to rip you off.
Right.
One of the things that AI doesn't know necessarily, maybe it does, and maybe they're not telling it to know that. Hal. When there's a blind spot monitor there, you can no longer repair that bumper in that area. because you're adding film thickness with the primers and the repair materials and so on and so forth. And once you do that, now that blind spot monitor cannot see through the bumper properly,
Really?
which creates a whole other problem. So while when we first looked at it, it was just a scratch on a bumper.
Right.
Maybe I'll just leave it there. There might be a little more to it, but if we had not talked about it, she might have just left it there and not bothered with it.
Right.
But now we have sticker shock
Yeah.
because of all the different things that need to be done,
Right.
and the length of time it's going to take to repair this. It's not just take the bumper off. Oh, by the way, you can't fix that bumper.
Right.
And quite frankly, the AI should know that, because it should know from the vehicle what options it has. And if it has blind spot monitors, it should know that you cannot do a repair there.
Yeah.
It's in the manufacturer's procedures. Don't do that.
Well, therein
So-
lies the whole issue right there, Rob. It's in the manufacturer's procedures.
They could have access to it the same way we do.
They could, but they choose not to on a consistent basis.
Right.
The insurers choose not to do that. Instead, they just go with what they think is the right repair, the least expensive repair, I should say.
Yeah.
And when you have to purchase the access to get into the original manufacturer's,
Find the information.
find the information, implement that into it,
Read the information and understand it.
and then you discover you have to go out and purchase another bumper cover because you cannot repair that because it will offset or cause a distraction
Yeah.
to the monitors.
There are some vehicles
Wow.
that you cannot repair the bumper. I believe it's an Audi, and if you have a 3-stage color, white, red, some of the blues, they say we don't care if it's got a scratch. If you paint another 3-stage paint on top of that, it's going to be too much film thickness. Get rid of the bumper and replace the bumper.
And there
But
you
most body shops are not going to know that.
And that's really the issue that we're facing here. And I just want to put an end cap on the sentiment that you brought up here. In that scenario that you just described for us, when there's the sticker shock because we took the bumper off, we looked at all the other things, we saw the quarter panel, we did all this, and that sticker shock jumps from that $600 estimate to, and we're just
a few grand.
using estimating numbers here, pretending, but it goes to a couple of grand. And you said, there might be the tendency for some people to believe that is the shop trying to be greedy.
Yeah.
And I just want to put an end cap on this. There is the right thing to do and the right way to repair a vehicle, and then there's everything else.
Yep.
And it doesn't make the people who want to make the right repair greedy. It makes them
Looking out for you.
careful, right?
Looking out for you.
They care about you. And so I just wanted to kind of wrap that up.
Yeah, because, and people do get sticker shock, and, again, remember I said these insurance adjusters are getting dumber? They're getting dumber. First off, try to get somebody on the phone to say, hey, if you knew anything about writing estimates today, you would know there's a blind spot monitor there, and the bumper cannot be repaired. Why are you writing to repair it?
Right.
You should know better. They don't know better, is the thing. But trying to get them on the phone to give them the information, and it could be weeks just to get that point across. And who's the one losing?
And you are. And meanwhile, the insurer is
Meet the consumer.
The insurer is on the phone with the consumer saying, clearly your body shop is trying to take
it's trying to rip
advantage
us
of you.
off. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And it's just not the truth.
So, pay attention to all these things, and understand that, you're probably not going to be able to fight this new technology. You can still try to get somebody on the phone and have a reasonable conversation. I always recommend emailing every conversation, just
Have
so
a
that
written
there's
record.
a point of reference, as far as when the conversation happened, what was involved in the conversation, because you may need it later on down the road.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I appreciate you for explaining all of this. And for those of you who are still with us, thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. do us a favor, give us the thumbs up, and if you wouldn't mind, copy the link of this and share it with your friends and family, because any one of you, it's still state law, I believe federal law, that we have to have insurance.
You have to have insurance.
And so this is relevant.
You may not have to
anyone.
have collision, but you have to have liability.
That's right.
You have to have collision if you have a loan on it.
There you go. All right, we appreciate you for listening and watching. Rob,
Happy Saturday. Thank you so much. I appreciate you beyond belief.
Absolutely.
Have an amazing week.